Alright, there's our pattern cut out, and we're going to draw it onto our piece of steel there. And I'm going to do that with a marker so you can see it, but you could certainly do it with a scratch awl, be a little more permanent. And you could do it with a marker and a scratch awl, of course, and you could see it easy and it would be permanent. Don't even need a scratch awl, a nail, anything, sharp end of a screw, anything to scratch it with. Alright, there is our design, and it has been drawn on with just a Sharpie marker, and just roughly, you're just going to rough this thing out to start with. So we're going to take it out in the shop and give it some shape. And for the most part, I'm just going to use some real common hand tools. You can do this all with hand tools. That's why it comes annealed. Don't have to heat it up or anything to work on it. It's already soft. And so that's what we're going to do. Take it out there to the shop and give it a little form. Alright, we're out here in the shop. First thing we want to do is put on a pair of these. I've taught shop for almost 20 years and I have had no injuries with my students. So put these on. We're not going to have any injuries today. Now, what we've got here is a nice post vise. You don't need this kind of vise, but I have this one. You could easily use a regular normal vise. I just have this one out where we can film a little better. And it's attached to a table that holds all my blacksmithing tongs. And it's a welding table as well if we need to weld. With a hacksaw, we'll cut this metal straight out of the box. No trouble. And that's why we have it annealed for you. Scoot it back here, it's flopping on me. Alright, right there, you saw it didn't take a whole lot once I got it in the right spot to cut that off. You can cut your whole knife out with a hacksaw. I generally use an angle grinder, and that's what I'll show you next. But certainly can cut off and do fine job with a hacksaw. A little grinding wheel. It's got a really thin profile blade on it, but this will speed us up a little bit. And so we're going to get to it. Right. See what we can do here. Right, and that's kind of what we've got at this moment. A couple of angles, and we're going to cool them off. All I do to cool it off is put it in some water. We'll have us a bucket of water here, and that should bring back to our floors clean and I'm kind of in an outside shop, so we get leaves and sometimes sawdust and all kind of stuff in here. This is going to throw sparks. This is high carbon steel, so you need to be mindful of your sparks. You'll set your place on fire. Alright, there's our handle portion chucked up in the vise now. And we're going to just do the same idea. Take a couple of cuts down here at this side. And then this inside one we'll probably just cut just a little bit. And that inside one we'll cut just a little bit. Alright. I'll show you what we got. That's us cut off that part, and of course we used it flat like this over here and cut a couple of spots, but then we turned it in on this corner and just whittled around back and forth a little bit with the edge of the grinding wheel like this. This is just our rough shape. We're going to switch over to some different stuff here just to get our final shape, and I've got to rechuck it up a little different so I can get to this one. Probably just switch sides with it so I can get out here away from this table and vise. Alright, there's our last little piece chewed up. Now this line's not a cut line. I'll get back so you can see. That's where we're going to stop shaping the blade. We want it to stop there and be flat from that point backwards. This top edge we want to keep real square and sharp, and we'll show you how to do that. And we're not going to worry about this portion right now. What we're going to do is drill a hole right there and then cut into it, probably with a hacksaw or something fine. A little less aggressive than our grinder. But again, could do all of this work with a hacksaw. The inside cuts you would just have cut straight in at a bird's mouth kind of shape, triangular shape, and cut that out. Now what we're going to do is we're going to switch over and we're going to put this in the vise vertical, turn it up like this, and we're going to switch over to a disc that looks like this, and this is basically a sanding disc. These are reasonably expensive. They are some cheaper versions. This one's about wore out, and I chose this one because it'll go slow. You get a brand new one of these, it'll go fast, and fast sometimes not as good as you think. And I've left a line. Don't cut your lines off. We're cutting up to the line, and if your line rubs off, what you did on me just a little bit, draw it back on there and cut up to the line. Got her chucked up again. Got a little piece, and this happens a lot of times with the grinder. If you don't grind it all the way in half, it wants to hang, but that's no problem. It'll pop right off. And this is the handle from the side that we didn't have marked. And that's your marks again. Hard to see in here, but that's your way we got it. This way is skinny way in the vise, and that'll help us with the profile. Alright. It looks like that goes very fast, and again, this is not going to be a perfect just yet. It's a little flat right there. We're going to come back and do just a little bit more on that, But this goes very fast. This section of it, roughing out your blank, will go pretty fast. So I'm just going to sit you down and we're going to go to work. But I did this side turn the other way and this side turn this way. And that, if you're making an inside, like if you wanted to make a knife with an inside curve, or an S-shaped blade, that was what I would suggest. Just flipping it around and getting those at least roughed out shapes. Alright, we're going to turn her over and do this top edge now. Alright, there's our pattern and our nearly roughed out blank. That back end needs thinning a little bit, to me, right up here, make it look a little better. Thin down that part a little bit, like the pattern is. But for the most part, that's the finger grooves and the front end, and we haven't got to the gut hook yet. We'll put it back in there and do that back end just a hair more. Alright, there we go. Got the back end shaped down a little bit more like I like it. Alright, we're going to set up and drill a hole in that front there and cut that little bitty piece out. Alright, start with of course center punching for your hole. I missed one time. And then drill a small pilot hole. And then we're going to take that hole, we're going to drill a bigger hole that'll be approximately the size of our pattern. Alright, there's our hole drilled. And I was right, it was 5/16. And like I said, probably could have had it down this way just a hair more. But I think that'll work. Alright, we're going to put her in the vise and whip that little hole out. Alright, we just took our sanding disc there and kind of started us our groove in there. Alright, before I go too much further, I laid out the handle and I'm going to drill pilot holes for the rivets that we're going to put through. So I marked those, and I marked how I don't want the handle to go, and I marked where I'm going to start and stop sharpening the blade there. And we're going to file that little teeny piece of metal out there that's holding our gut hook up from working open. And we'll do all that. Shouldn't take me just a second. And we're going to come on back. And there you can see this took what, 20 seconds of filing. Now it's open. I was using a big old 3-square file or a triangular file, but anything with a corner on it would have done. Even a flat one would have done. But I'm going to file that on up down to the bottom of that hole right here. File it down to there, right through here just a little bit. And we'll be done with that part.